listening to a band called OAR. I don't remember how I came across them, but makes the sound or, like a row team, ROWTEAM, for one rowboat, but a lot of paddles in the water. Viking tradition, VI. Um, so I'm just thinking, I'm like, I watched briefly NYPD's ceremony just yesterday. The camera panned out over the sea of blue, SEA, of BLUE, in the city for NYPD to, I don't know if you call it memorialize, I think. I, of course, watched it only from teleportation, from the television. I'm not one of the participants, or I don't know, but still a human and an alien watching over the local whatevers. The there was a visiting whatever, said PEEL. I thought that was interesting. I'd never seen that before. And then I know that the humans use this word upheal, APEAL, which is different, I believe. And then there's something when I was little, like, try to think of which cartoon. The CARTOON, when the television still had rabbit ears, before digital packaging went into whatever the animals and the monsters did. There was something about, like, they used to make mention, but by visual art, in they used to draw first on cells. I don't know what they call the cells, but it was a see-through translucent cell, and then they'd feed them into a machine, and then it would whatever. But it was hand drawn. I knew a Disney artist once, Chuck Harrington, but he died. He got a heart attack while he was in China, no less, overseas. But I went to his funeral. He was the first funeral that I can remember going to. He was a neighbor. He was familiar, but he was a neighbor in Cold Spring Harbor. But they used to make reference, not Disney so much, but some of the other cartoons, of walking and then slipping on a banana peel. Not quite sure the significance, but it was in the timing of rabbit ears. Which, again, then I've noticed the other day, I was like, oh, you humans, you animals, I swear. Somebody walked by with a Playboy bunny rabbit ear hat. I'm like, that is not what I mean when I talk about rabbit ears, but I get the fact that there's something going on with the disclosure technique of that genre of possibility of being in the front section of the television and teleportation. And I'm thinking to myself, how did they slip on a banana peel when you've got, they were already dangerous when they were on foot and then gained access to the horse, they grew even more dangerous in not the banana peels, but the animals and monsters, and the more greedy they got with wheels and a motor and transportation of now criminals can just get anywhere at any time they want. And then they even built them arteries, tributaries, and like roadways and highways and as like shuttle service. Then I'm like, someone allowed from cars, which I would have never owned. There's trains somewhere in there, but at least that had a direct path, and you knew the timing of the whatever. That was at least more whatever. But the cars is a real bad thing. Personal transport for just anyone. Ay, ay, ay. And then it went from cars to then flight. I'm like, it didn't work out with cars. Why would you allow them wings to just show up anywhere? Seems dangerous. And then now we're up to throwing their voice, digitally enhanced or not, high definition or not, and teleporting their image into people's living space with some kind of oversight, maybe, but there's so many packages and there's been so many enhancements and there's versions. There's pilots versions of stories and truths that then they send out. So not everybody is even living off of the same band of reality. Like a merry band of bandits? Right. Oh my God. I'm like, and that happens in like a timing sequence that gets me frightened. I'm like, so the cars and the amount of criminal activity and the increase didn't give away that maybe you should never let them have flight. You then gave them flight and then built them airports and even bigger flight and like a fleet of flight machines. And then they argued and decided they want teleportation. I mean, like, this angry mob of monsters and animals. At what point does the people in charge say, no, you're grounded, and there's no more teleportation for you? It's supposed to be to, like, inform in the correct reality and then add entertainment if you must. But I mean, it is like, it is so highly toxic and volatile. My son, I showed yesterday at an ELA fourth grade in New York, the most pathetic education system. I don't know what kind of job he's going to be qualified for unless he gets some kind of trade or craftsman or engineer to come in and say, you know what, kiddo, like, you don't belong here. Because it's like, I mean, there's no STEM, STEM training, at least for his grade. I don't know if the other grades are doing it or being given that opportunity. I mean, I hear some of the children on TV, they're being given engineering classes. They're building robots. They're building sophisticated algorithms and coding and websites and all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, really? And he gets like a paragraph, a couple of lines, and his penmanship isn't even a priority. Wow. Talk about just how sophisticated humans have gotten in their pledge to the betterment of humanity in their lives to the public and each other. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.